Hey boys, it's Bird here, and today I want to take a minute to discuss my opinions on controller versus mouse and keyboard and which device you should be playing with. I think on both sides of the playing field we have our opinions that are probably pretty biased. I have played on controller for probably 15 years, if not more, and mouse and keyboard for around 3 to 4 years, so I think that I can give an honest opinion on which device is better. Which device is better, you ask? Well, in general and across the board, taking every game into consideration, I would say that mouse and keyboard is a better device to play with overall. Now that being said, when playing in a cross-platform shooter game with good aim assist and at the highest level of competition, I think the controller is a very, very fucking good option and should not be thought of as anything less than mouse and keyboard. In fact, in a game like Fortnite or Warzone, I would go as far as to say that controller is actually better. But here's the catch. A controller player playing on a typical console is not going to have the same advantages as a controller player playing on a very high-end computer with a 240Hz refresh rate monitor. When PC players who play on mouse and keyboard complain about aim assist in games or controller players in general, we are referring to the people who are playing on very high-end machines and getting maximum FPS in game. Any mouse and keyboard player out there who has any common sense at all will understand that playing on a console in itself is a very big handicap. But when you add a high-end computer to the mix, the aim assist can become so good it's hard to tell somebody to try to play on mouse and keyboard. And just to be completely honest with you, dude, if you're playing mouse and keyboard on console, you're absolutely batshit crazy and might want to check yourself into a mental institution. So what would I recommend? Well, from my experience being a very above average player in most of the games that I've played, I would honestly recommend that you play with what makes you feel comfortable. I would highly recommend that you purchase yourself a decent computer. A decent computer can be put together for around $800, and you're going to be able to enjoy the games you play much more no matter what device you play with. If you're on mouse and keyboard and are getting shit on by controller players and want to try out controller again, sure, give it a go. There's no harm in trying something new. If you're a controller player and want to have the advantages of mouse and keyboard like I said before, go ahead and do it. See how it is. See how it feels. I will go on the record and say that mouse and keyboard is much harder to learn than controller, but if you do decide to try to learn it, stick with it, get you a good mouse, and continue practicing until you're proficient with it. One of the best recommendations I could give to any player out there is to purchase you a computer if you're getting into gaming and want to play at a higher level. Consoles are a good entry point into gaming, but nothing compares to a high-end PC. If you're purchasing a computer and shelling out the money to buy one, make sure you get a good keyboard, a good mouse, and most importantly, a very good monitor. I cannot stress how fucking different it is to play on a 60Hz monitor versus a 144Hz plus monitor. It is a night and day difference, and you can't truly see it until you see it in person. If you have a friend that has a 144Hz monitor, I would highly advise checking it out because once you see it, your eyes will be changed forever. A lot of people will say to you, hey dude, go buy a computer, it's cool. But they forget to mention that you need to get a monitor to go along with it. If you're not playing at 144Hz, you might as well still be playing on a console. If you listen to nothing I say in this video, please listen to me telling you that if you're going to shell out the money to buy a computer, spend just a little bit extra to get you a good monitor. They are very much worth it. We all give each other shit whether we're playing on mouse and keyboard or controller, but let's be honest. If you're cracked at games, you're just cracked. That's how it is. Somebody like me will never be as good as somebody like Aiden, and who knows, you may end up being the best of the best one day, either on your default device or switching to a new device. You never know. Both mouse and keyboard and controller are very viable in most games. I would say that mouse and keyboard is better overall due to the fact that some games do not support controller and you can play a wider variety of games with mouse and keyboard. If we are looking strictly at cross-platform shooter games, I would say that if you're insane at controller, then don't consider switching. Stick with what you know best. Until the next time, don't be fucking cheating, man.